all the wheels are put together now, and next we're going to stick the wheels onto the bottom part of the tank here where all the suspension parts are located. There's also these other little itty bitty wheels right here that have to go on both sides. So it looks like there's 4 on each side. Now they show there's a couple of long poly caps that came with this kit. Pretty long. The other ones are short. Oops, sorry. Such as these. And those short ones all went in every single one of these wheels. Now, polycap goes on this big spike on the front, and I don't think it goes anywhere else, but that is all part of hooking the 2 parts of the body together of the tank. Alright, so let's carry on and start putting these wheels all over the is I have all the wheels put on the bottom half of this tank, the bathtub part of the tank. I've also glued on the back portion here, black armor with the lights and a couple of hooks here. And I've got a bunch of stuff done on the top part of the tank. I got the grill on the back here. Got some toolboxes glued on the sides. Got a couple hatches put on. A couple of cable hooks on the front. And then I just glued this little piece of side armor that goes on the side where to cover the top of the wheels. So here's where we are at this stage of the game. These tank tracks, I've put them together. These are just the one-piece rubberized plastic tracks. I've got both of those put together. The bottom half of the tank, all the wheels are on, plus a portion of the back armor plating. The top portion of the tank, I have attached a lot of toolboxes and some hooks and some other stuff. Here's a side armor piece that I just put on. And then I'm just starting to work on the turret itself. And what I've done with this is I put a piece of, it's a bulkhead or a piece of armor that slid into place here in the back portion, and I put a couple little hooks on. Oh, there is the right automatic cannon is built up, and in typical Tamiya fashion, everything fit together really well. This cannon is going to plug into the side of the turret right there somehow. Here we are. I've put together these sub-assemblies that belong on the turret, and these are all illustrated in step 7. There's a radar unit, some kind of a hatch, and some other kind of a infrared unit, or I'm not sure, radar of some kind. Yeah, these pieces are supposed to be at some point attached onto the turret right here. The turret at this point has a few things attached to it. I've got these little side wings that I glued on. They look like they're going to be holding antennas of some kind, perhaps. I don't know. And then on the front, there's this part here that has a sunken in area. That's going to go on there. That's all part of step 8. And so I've been working on kind of step 7 and step 8 at the same time. So I'm just going to continue on in that same manner and do some more stuff with the turret parts in step 8. Okay. Let's see. On the turret, I have just completed step 8. That's where I'm at right now. And this is what the turret looks like. Got this big hatch on top. I got a bunch of hooks. I got some periscopes. All kinds of little goodies attached to this thing. I've got the guns done. There's the 2 main guns. They are done. And so next, I will be dropping down to step 9, which is fixing of the 2 Oerlikon 35mm automatic cannons. So that's going to involve taking this turret and turning it upside down, putting this little drum inside, and attaching these 2 guns to this drum inside. Fix both cannon horizontally to D19. Do not cement to turret. Okay. Move up and down. So this if I do this right, these guns that I'm going to put on this are going to be movable. Okay. I have the 2 cannons, the 2 35mm autocannons, now attached to the turret. They basically go together underneath here. There's a drum right here that has a little gear on it that allows you to move this thing up and down. Tricky part was getting it in there and getting these 2 guns to be parallel to each other, which I think I accomplished. The turret is just about all done. I think I've got everything attached to it except for the main radar unit here. This main radar unit is going to be a little tricky because it has to hook in 2 spots at the same time if you want it to open and close freely. With this kit, they designed it. This is kind of cool. This main radar on top, it can pivot up and down like this, and it can go side to side like this, and then it'll pivot on the back of the turret and open and close on a couple of hinges. On the turret itself, we have this little piece of radar dome right here that swivels back and forth and also goes up and down. The main guns also will, not as easily, but they will go up and down. Well, they're supposed to anyway. I don't want to force them. They're just on a little, there's like a gear right here that they're supposed to work on, but they're pretty tight. Not that I really need to move this thing up and down, but because I have it pretty much right where I want it. Anyhow, there's the turret. I'm just waiting to put the tracks on till after I paint this. Then I'll put the tracks on, and then once I get the tracks on and that's painted, the top will go on after it gets painted. And then the turret is going to go on last. I still have the bottom part of the turret to fit on here. It goes this way and kind of slides in like that. It's kind of a tight fit, but that goes on like that. And then this whole thing will go on top of the tank body. But yeah, I think I'm kind of ready to glue the bottom of this turret on so that I can have the freedom to put it on and off the tank body. It's a matter of fitting it together, and then once you get it fit together, you can add the glue to it. It tends to be a little too wide in places, and so it, as you get it fit together, it kind of pops apart. So I think I'll sand it a little bit so it fits together a little bit easier. I mean, I do want it to be nice and tight, but at the same time I don't want it to be impossible to put together. I don't know if I hold it like that. Let's see, then it just pops apart. So I think I will sand this a little bit, so it's a little bit easier to put on. Okay, so now the tank has been painted with the olive drab. I get to paint the tires black and a few other little items here get painted black on the turret. This has all been sprayed with the olive drab. So we're ready to do a little bit more hand painting, and then we'll be putting the tank treads on. Okay, now that I have the main parts of this tank painted the olive drab, there are a few other things that have to be painted differently. The guns themselves are not supposed to be olive drab. There's supposed to be some sort of a gun metal or something like that. I mean, it says gun metal right there. I'm going to use NATO black on them and then do a little dry brushing with some flat aluminum and something else. I have these these weathering master things from Tamiya. So I'm gonna paint the guns NATO black. When that's thoroughly dry, I'm going to use some of these weathering pastels to give it, excuse me, to give it a metallic look. And the same with a few other little parts here and there. But yeah, the wheels are all painted. I had to hand brush these wheels on this side because I forgot to hit them with the airbrush. But once that's thoroughly dry, it'll match pretty much perfectly. And then the actual rims of these wheels are going to be painted black. And then the, let's see, the tank treads, I will paint these all NATO black, and then use the same weathering master from Tamiya on them and make them look a little more, I don't know, realistic, or give them more character or definition, whatever you want to call it. And I'll go over the entire tank with the weathering masters also and give it make some details stand out more and that sort of thing. So anyway, right now I'm going to get out the NATO black, which is right there, and paint some stuff NATO black. I am getting ready to put the track on. It's always a little bit tricky with these one-piece rubberized plastic tracks. They have a bit of stretch to them, so what I found that works is you just start pushing it down onto the wheels and turning it at the same time. There it goes. Got it. Okay. I'm going to try putting it on from the front first, and then working my way towards the drive sprocket this time. See if that works any better. Sometimes it does. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is use the Tamiya weathering master on it. And I'm going to start with the guns, and then work my way around the turret, and we'll add a little bit of definition and character, and maybe a touch of weathering to this thing. So I will start with the guns. I don't know if you can see the difference. Maybe not on the camera, but I just did this one with the flat the flat silver. I'll do the other one. Kind of gives it a bit of a metallic look. Okay. That's the flat silver on them. Now, I'll use this other color here, this dark orange rust color. Now, I'm not actually wanting to make this thing look rusty. It kind of helps give it a more metal look, more steel looking when you add this on top of the silver. Makes a lot of the raised portions of this really pop and stand out. Gives it a, I don't know, it just gives it a better look, I think. I don't know if you can see that. Now I'll do the other one. Then I'll do the back sides. Okay, now we'll turn it over. There are the guns. Now I'll start using the same weathering pastels on the rest of the turret. Try and get some things to stand out. Alright, here we are. There's the turret with the two autocannons. Might do a little bit more, maybe use a little of the panel line wash on it. But that's basically it right there. Alright, here is the completed turret on top of the upper part of the tank body. And came out pretty nice, I guess. So I'm waiting to, let's put this down here. What I have left to do is, I've got this one set of tracks on this side, and I still have to put them on this side here. So I had to re-glue this sprocket together, and I'm going to attempt in a little while to put this track on. That's the idea. And pretty much done all the painting I'm going to do on this thing. All that's really left to do is decals after this. So when I come back, hopefully I'll have this other track on and we'll put the two halves together. Okay, I have put the two halves together and we are ending up with a nasty gap right there. And I can push it together with my fingers, but it won't stay like that. So I'm going to have to put some instant glue there so this holds together. Okay, the tank model is complete, and all I have left to do is put decals on. But that's not going to happen until I get a clear coat put on this thing to seal in all the paint and everything. And I'll put the decals on, and then I'll give it another coat of clear to seal the decals in. But this is how it looks, and it came out pretty nice, I think. Here is the little crew figure guy. He's all painted up. He's looking in charge. So there you go. Now we're going to take a look at the completed tank, and that'll be the end. Alright, and here is the finished model. The 135 scale West German FlakPanzer Gepard, if I'm pronouncing that right. This is a fun kit. It's pretty easy to build. There was a couple of sections that were a little iffy, but generally speaking, it's a good kit. It's an interesting subject. It's not your typical normal looking World War II tank or anything like that. It's got these 35 millimeter autocannons on it for shooting down aircraft. Big radar units on it. Yep. Let's see what the paper here says again. There we are. The FlakPanzer Gepard 135 Military Miniature Series by Tamiya. West German Army. It says here, basis of the Gepard weapon system is the remarkable Oerlikon Contraves 35 millimeter, which was developed and put into production in the early 1960s to combat modern jet aircraft approaching on the battlefield. At tactical height attacks, a very high rate of fire was needed, coupled with a high muzzle velocity. Their 35 millimeter caliber was found to be the optimum size for the best combination of weapon weight and effectiveness. Yeah, very interesting subject matter, which is why I got the tank. I wanted to build something that was a little out of the ordinary, so there it is. Alright, well, that's all. Thank you for watching, and have a good day.